She's a writer, actor, comedian, and host of the podcast Couples Therapy. Please welcome back returning champion, Naomi Ekperigin. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Lovett.
America watched in horror as Trump sat down for an hour-long interview with Jonathan Swan of Axios, and so now it's time for OK Stop. We'll roll the clip, and you can say OK Stop, Naomi, at any point to comment. Let's roll the clip.
Right here, the United States is lowest in numerous categories.
Okay, stop. Does he know what an x-axis is? Does he know what a y-axis is? He's holding them like he's shaking. He's literally like they're shaking in his hands. He is terrified.
Yeah, he definitely holds paper like it's the first time he's interacted with paper.
Right. He's like, is it big money? And he doesn't realize it's like not a bill. And he's just like, what do I do? And he's like,
look at the chart on this big money. This big piece of money. This oddly colored non-green money with some kind of a chart. And that you can't spend.
Lower than the world.
Lower than the world.
Lower than
Okay, stop.
Europe.
In what?
I just want to pause it. The Jonathan Swan performative, He did a great job, obviously, in this interview, of course. Hopefully it's reaching some people who are on the fence, I guess. But anyway, the is so fake. It's so fake because really he's like, you're being dumb. You're dumb. But he's like, I don't understand. I'm having trouble processing it. Must be not getting it. Anyway.
Look.
In what?
Take a look. Right here. Here's case death.
Oh, you're doing death as a proportion of cases. I'm talking about death as a proportion of population. That's where the US is really bad. Much worse than South Korea, Germany, etc.
You can't do that. You have
It's surely irrelevant.
You can't do that.
Can't do it.
He literally said you can't do that like he was on the playground and someone changed the rules to hopscotch. You can't do that. You can't do that. Horrified. Also, don't you hate how pouty Trump's lips are when he talks? He really gets pouty in a way that really turns my stomach.
Yes, it's unfortunately been ruined because Alec Baldwin picked it up for his impression.
Yeah,
and made it too central to that impression. But yes, it is quite frustrating. I will say too, you can really see the kind of the ombre of not just his hair but also his skin.
His face?
The way it moves from a rich tan, orange. Up through the browns and into the ghost white of a man who basically is indoors watching Fox News 6.5 days a week.
Statistic to say if the US has X population and X percentage of death of that population versus South Korea.
No, go by the cases.
Well, look at South Korea, for example. 51 million population, 300 deaths. It's crazy compared to...
You don't know that.
I do. It's on the... You think they're faking their statistics, South Korea?
Stop. You don't know that. Why does he think that a journalist would not know that information?
He knows it.
What does he think that he's like, you don't know that? He feels like, he seems really like the energy Trump has here is like a little like, his like feelings are hurt whenever he tells him something. He's like, you don't know that. Like he gets a little sad.
It's also, yes, there is a kind of petulant child quality, but it's also just worth, like everybody has shared that said, look, see when, what happens when Donald Trump is confronted with the facts. And like, that's absolutely true. Like Swan does a great job here. He confronts Trump with the facts of what's actually going on in the country. But it's also just worth remembering that this conversation actually, even in this moment where we are right now, this conversation shouldn't be happening because when Jonathan Swan says, we're number one in cases, we're number one in deaths, it's really bad, things are really bad. A real kind of non-malignant force would say, Jonathan, we have a disagreement about the data, but honestly, it doesn't matter because one death is too many. And until we're at 0 deaths, I want to do everything we can to fix this crisis. I'm as unhappy as you are because the country is in obviously such pain because of this. It breaks my heart. And so as much as there have been problems with the response until now, we have to do everything in our power right now. And I think we've actually done a better job than what you're saying. But the truth is, any COVID-19 in this country it means we have work to do, right? That's what you would move on, right? They're debating the scale of the problem because the scale of the problem makes him look bad. But actually, how he looks doesn't fucking matter. What matters is what he's actually, they never get to it. They actually never fucking get to it.
Korea?
I
An
won't get
advanced
into
country?
that because I have a very good relationship
Yeah.
with the country. But you don't know that. You take
Anyway.
the number of cases.
Okay.
Now look, we're last, meaning we're first.
Last, I don't know
We
what
have
we're
the
first
best.
in. When can
Okay,
you...
Wait. Stop.
Stop.
Can you explain to me we're last, meaning we're first? Jon Lovett.
I think what he was saying is we're lowest in this, which means we're the best in this, is what I think he was trying to say.
What he
As
was
in,
trying
like,
to confuse.
We're
Okay.
lowest in death rate per case, which means we're the best at it. It's the worst number, but the lowest, but we're the best. He struggles. Look, his vocabulary has been whittled down to about 850 words. He's working with a very small set of adjectives at this point. Earlier today, he couldn't remember the word phrase.
Oh,
So
no.
he said back to normal is a good word. I mean grouping of words. He's like, you mean phrase,
God.
you fucking asshole. You're gonna say Joe Biden's lost his marbles? Look at you. You're down to a tiny vocabulary.
By what date that every American will have access to the same day testing that you get here in the White House?
Well, we have great testing. We're doing, and
By
many
what
other
date?
people do. Let me explain. There are those that say you can test too much. You do know that.
Who says that?
Just read the manuals. Read the books.
Manuals?
Read the
What
books.
manuals?
Read the books.
Okay, stop.
Read the manuals. Good
Read the
advice for life. Read the manuals, read the books.
Like, it feels like he sounds to me the way I sound when my mom wants me to fix the internet. It's like, what button? What button? You know, like, what books? What manuals? I like feel his emotion there in my bones.
What a dark reality we're in.
The darkest timeline. Truly the darkest timeline.
And that's okay, stop. Thank you to the great Naomi Ekperigin for joining us. Always a delight, always excited to see her. Thank you so much for being here.